Welcome to the north side of Chicago. We had a client that came to us with very specific vision. They wanted clean modern lines, they wanted a mid-century modern feel to it, and they wanted it to be moody. Let me show you how it all turned out. Let's start with some storage. So you want to have dry goods storage. You want to have storage for maybe your mops and your vacuum somewhere in your kitchen because that's where you spend a lot of your time. And instead of having like a built-in traditional pantry, if the space allows, you can make this as part of your entire kitchen space. And it's going to look more consistent, it's going to have a better flow, and you can also have organization inside like pull-outs or adjustable shelves and maximize your space instead of having something enclosed. So for those of you who are coffee drinkers, a lot of times if the space permits, you want to have a dedicated area for your prep of your coffee. So for this client, they wanted this to be a feature where you could actually see. Some folks decide to have doors where they're pivot and pocket, and when you're using it, everything's exposed. When you don't use it, you can close the doors. In this case, it's a feature, so you have several different materials. You have this beautiful AGT matte material that's fingerprint resistant and smudge resistant, so although it's dark, it stays very clean, it's very easy to maintain. You have this gorgeous stone that runs through the backsplash, and then textured material through agar. This is an Austrian manufacturer, so this is TFL, thermally fused laminate, not real wood, which means it's more cost efficient to manufacture. It is UV stable, which means it's not going to change color over time, and it still gives you this gorgeous wood look, and frankly, a lot of people think that it is natural wood. So this is just a beautiful display, not only form, but also function. Okay, as we continue moving forward, there's some more tall storage here. We have the built-in ovens. And then instead of using traditional handles, when you have storage above, because it is very usable storage, it's very deep, the things that are on top are not necessarily easy to get to, but you can still store things that are required to be in the kitchen, but you don't use often, like big trays or something like that. In this case, instead of using a handle, we did a push to open solution. So you press, it gives you a little bit of a nudge here with this push to open mechanism that you can adjust the strength. And then here we're able to do a divider for all the cutting boards. And then when you close it, just press down and voila. The other thing that I want to highlight are the side panels. So with custom cabinetry, it can be very purposeful. All of our side panels, we make 1 inch deeper than they need to be because chances are the walls, the ceiling, the floor, they're not straight. So by making it by 1 inch deeper, we can scribe it to the wall, making sure that it's nice and tight and you're not using a lot of caulking to make sure that things look and appear straight. The other thing that we do is we pull this panel out so it's proud from the cabinet box. This way the door itself is inside of the panel, so it all looks very purposeful and enclosed. So you hear me talk about construction in the United States where we use 2x4s, we use either metal studs or the wooden studs, and then we put drywall over it. So chances of your walls, your ceiling, your floors being straight are not high. So a lot of times what needs to happen is you need to have a trim or a molding or a crown to kind of hide the imperfection and make sure that your doors are opening in case there's some kind of a belly on the ceiling. However, if you have a company that comes out to measure before you produce, you can validate that, let's say the ceiling is straight enough to do something like this, where the doors next to the hood enclosure go almost all the way up to the ceiling. So there's a small reveal, so this way it all flows and you know that the doors are actually going to open and not rub on the ceiling. The other thing that I want to highlight here is the grain direction. So majority of the time, the grain, whenever there is a texture, like a wooden texture, is going to run vertically. It actually reduces the risk in case something gets dinged or danged during production or delivery or installation. All you need to do is just replace this piece and you'll be done. In this case, the client decided to risk it just for the sake of the look, and they wanted this horizontal flow. So you can see that this entire run was made out of one panel. So the grain flows from door to door to the hood enclosure to the other two doors. Keep in mind that if something does happen, again, during transportation or delivery or during use, and something gets damaged and it cannot be repaired, this entire run would then have to be replaced in order to have that continuous look. Do you talk to your cabinet maker first, or do you pick appliances? I say you pick appliances. Appliances need to be the anchor to a kitchen design, especially in a high-end custom kitchen, especially when you have panel-ready appliances like this gorgeous Thermador. Because 1/16 of an inch that wasn't considered will cause us to have to redo the designs. We need to consider the clearances, we need to consider whether it's going to be sitting inside of the panel or it's going to be proud, and without having the specifications ahead of time, we will have to redo the design. So pick your appliances first, then come talk to your cabinet makers. Look at this massive island. This thing is huge. It's 5 feet deep by about 13.5 feet long. And I will argue that if it would have just one piece of stone going in on the same level, it would look cumbersome, it would look bulky. So the decision was made to really break it up and then have 2 tiers. We have the stone for the main cooking area, and then you have this walnut tabletop built into it for the sit-in kitchen. So it's a really good feature. I will argue that it's also more comfortable to sit at a dining room regular table height than at an island. And then here you have additional seating, so you have some versatility. So instead of, again, having this huge bulky island that will take away the focus of the kitchen, you have versatility, you have different angles, you have different seating heights, and it does not feel large. It gives you all the utility without being cumbersome. So let's talk about the bar. Bar, a lot of the times, is a continuation of the main kitchen space. So the kitchen is right where the lens is right now, and I'm in the bar. It is a separate area, but it does flow. So we have the same panels here, that same Gola type integrated handle from Rincomatic. And then we're using the same materials, but in different fashion. So instead of having this wooden look on the outside, the cabinet interior is made from that Egger textured wood look, and then on the outside, to give it an extra pop, we have these gorgeous element design metal frame doors with the integrated handles and the built-in lighting. So again, totally different space, but it feels like a continuation of the main area, which is the kitchen. Hey, so here we have a laundry room, and you probably noticed online that a lot of people are bringing in a pop of color, right? Like, check out the backsplash. It's a lot of different variation here, and I love this color. It's a pumpkin. That's the name of the actual color here, and it's from a company called Alvic, which is out of Spain. Another thing that I really like about this material, it is fingerprint and smudge resistant. So in a utility area like this, you know, if your hands have a little bit of oil, you can touch it, and one, it's really smooth to the touch, and two, you're not gonna see the fingerprints on it. And then because we don't have the kitchen next to us, right, we're on the second floor, it's nice if it has a separate garbage can solution if the space permits. And as always, if you have lower cabinets, drawers are one of the best ways to organize your space in an efficient manner. Lighting brings this whole space to life. So if there is a way to integrate lighting, I encourage you to. Welcome to the primary bath. So this is a floating vanity. A couple of things I love about it. One, it's not a very wide space. So by lifting off the ground about 7-8 inches, it gives you the appearance of space. That's one. Two, your feet are typically longer than the offset of the toe kick. And because it's floating, I can really come nice and close to it. If I'm using something in the mirror here, I'm washing my hands. So it's also not only a look and feel, but also function. The material, this is Egger. Egger is an Austrian panel. They do have a factory in North Carolina. It's an extremely consistent material, and this is TFL. Some call it melamine, some call it furniture board, but TFL stands for thermally fused laminate. And what's nice about that is in a place like this where there's a lot of heat and moisture, it's not going to start peeling. It's scratch resistant, unlike veneers or natural materials. So it's something I truly recommend. And if you want that wooden look, you can absolutely do that. It even has a little bit of texture. So here you can see that there's nice variation between different solutions. You have doors to allow for plumbing underneath the sink. You have pull-outs, you have drawers. And another cool feature about this space is inside of this little toilet niche. It was a really deep space. We were able to do a large pantry built in. So you have large space at the top. deep rollouts, so additional and versatile space. And again, those same matte, silky smooth fingerprint and smudge resistant panels. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with us. It's been an absolute delight working with these clients. It took a lot of time, a lot of planning, a lot of preparation to get to this beautiful final result. I'd love to hear from you. What'd you think? And then if you are thinking about undertaking a major renovation or you're building a new home and custom cabinetry is part of the investment you're looking to make, I encourage you, reach out to us early. It takes a lot of time from initial ideation of your project to getting materials curated, to getting all the drawings stood up. So the sooner you reach out, chances are the better results will be. We'll talk to you soon.